Welcome to St. Thomas's 60th anniversary celebration. We are glad that you are here, and we are glad that you are here to reminisce with us about the past 60 years and the impact that St. Thomas has made. Since St. Thomas has been here, we have made a profound difference in the life of Houston, Texas, and our surrounding areas. And tonight we are going to celebrate the impact that we have made on behalf of our Lord Jesus Christ and the Christian faith. So have a great evening and join us for this wonderful celebration.
T. Robert Ingram came to Houston in 1953 after a very wonderful career in journalism. He went to seminary after being in the Pacific for 3 years. Then when he went to seminary, he went to a little mill town in West Virginia first, and it was just really a very hard place to start. The church was not pretty. It was a converted garage, and the house was full of coal dust from the steel mill. And then he got a call to Texas from his cousin, Willis Gerhardt, in Abilene, Texas, where he was the minister of the Episcopal Church there, and my father went to assist him. I don't know how he made the contact with people from Houston, but they called him to ask him to come and build a church. So I think he came in 1953, and he rented a little house in Bel Air on Avenue 3. I remember the house, and they had church in the house, and I had to be up very early because my bedroom was the Sunday school, and they had communion was managed. All the sacraments came out of the kitchen, and of course there was no breakfast cooked while that was going on, and they had church in the living room and the dining room. So then my father, I guess I was here visiting, and he said, "I want to show you something." "Oh, I want to show you something wonderful." So he took me out here, brought me out here in the car, and I looked and I said, "Well, what's this?" And he said, "Well, I've just bought 5.5 acres of this Meyerland property. They are allotted so much land for churches and so much land for schools. And so this is what we bought for St. Thomas." And I said, "What's St. Thomas?" He said, "Well, this is St. Thomas." And I said, "Papa, you've gone out of your mind. Who is going to come to church out here?" And the first time we had service out here for many years was in a tent. And my mother said they sat in the congregation with the flaps up on the tent, and as people drove by, they'd slow down and look at these strange people sitting in Texas heat in a tent, all dressed up for church. Eventually, they built a little tiny building, called it the Gray Building Church. And then we built the Quinn Hall, which doubled as a basketball court and a church. We had senior proms in Quinn Hall, we had church services in Quinn Hall, we had weddings, but it was our church, and it had lots of purposes and functions. And then they started a campaign to raise enough money to build the church. And I have pictures of the bishop putting his foot on the shovel to dig the first hole to build the foundation, which takes me back to fond memories. My 3 children were married in this building that we have now, and my fond memories go back to many years of attending church with my mother and listening to my father. With the construction of the actual church that we have now, it became something much more prominent in Houston. We became very prominent. And the church became a center for many people in their lives. And they're very proud of our church, very proud of our building.
I started here in 1967, 68. My family came. And what I loved about it was just this wonderful community where I had these really close friends. As a kid, my favorite thing to do was the fall fair. It was the weekend of Halloween every year, and all the parents were busy working in the booths. The dad would build the booths out of burlap, and there'd be hay all over the ground, and it was really fun. But because the parents were so busy, we kind of had a free-for-all around the campus. We could run around and do whatever we wanted, and it was great. My mom was the sweet shop chair, so she got all the moms to bring the pies, and the parents would sell the pies, and we had a dunking booth that Mr. Ingram and Mr. Walters would get put in, and we would, pay to dunk them. It was one of my, highlights. And I grew up with the same people. I mean, I went here from K through 12, and there was a lot of us that did that, and many of us went to church here too. And it was a wonderful time in my life. You know, I don't know what Houston would be like as a place without St. Thomas, but I know how different my life would be. St. Thomas is home to me, and I didn't really realize how much home it was to me until I left and came back. And I think the people that are here feel the same way. It's a place of comfort and of joy and of friendships and of love. And it is a place that we offer that to others. You know, the cool thing for me about this church, and I think it's true for other people, is it's multi-generational. This is a place that families come to generation after generation after generation. And even if you didn't come back here in the 60s and you didn't start here until the 90s, it's likely that when we get to 2050, your families are going to still be coming here, because that's the kind of place it is.
It is said that the future belongs to people who believe in something. At St. Thomas, we believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we are built on the faith of those who have gone before us. As the world continues to change, we will remain what we are, the heralds of the gospel and the educators of young men and young women as we form them in the Christian faith and as we help them to become people who believe something, because the future does belong to those who believe something. Specifically, the future belongs to people who believe in the grace of God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Happy 60th anniversary, St. Thomas, and here's to 60 more.